Hello, and welcome to the 31 Days of Halloween. I'm Mix of Lights, and this is my channel. Before we get started, if you would please quickly give this video a thumbs up, I would very much appreciate it. If you are not subscribed, why not? Please go ahead and do so. And if you would like to be notified when my content goes live, go ahead and click that bell and keep coming back, because in the month of October there will be new content every single day. An added bonus, I will be giving away an Amazon gift card, so you're going to have to leave a message down below so that I can contact you if you are chosen as the winner. So don't forget to leave that comment. Today we're going to talk about some horrible crimes committed on Halloween. Let's get started. Throughout history, there have been numerous murders, kidnappings, and assaults that have taken place on October 31st, and many are directly related to the festivities of the holiday. While it does remain debatable as to whether or not there is a spike in crime on the holiday, there's no debate that some of these particular assaults happened in connection with the day. Many of these crimes have been carried out by people who took advantage of the occasion to wear a costume and fool their victims for just long enough to kill them. Others involved people out trick-or-treating or returning home from parties late at night. But as with most violent crime in general, crimes that began on Halloween are usually committed either by someone known to the victim, or, in a case of mistaken identity, in a few cases the crime has never been solved, and years or decades have gone by with no closure for the loved ones of the victims. Here are some of those stories. Now, we've all heard the stories, the legends, the folklore of razor blades, needles, poison, and candy. When I was little, after we went trick-or-treating, we would all meet up at my grandmother's house. My cousins and I would have to dump our candy out onto the floor, and our parents would look through to make sure that there was nothing cut in a wrapper, nothing open. Anything handmade, like a popcorn ball, automatically went into the trash, just in case. For the record, the only case of someone being poisoned is this one. 8-year-old Timothy OBrien had a packet of pixie sticks given to him by his father, Ronald, to cap off his trick-or-treating. He passed away less than an hour later. This tragic event sent the O'Brien's small Texas town into a panic, and the police were determined that the pixie stick that Timothy ate was laced with cyanide. When Ronald's story kept changing, police began investigating him. They found him to be deeply in debt, and that he'd taken out a massive life insurance policy on his children. Police found that the other children had also been given candy by their father, but they hadn't eaten it. Ronald O'Brien was found guilty of murder and executed in 1984. On Halloween in 2010, an Ohio teenager, Devin Griffin, returned home from Sunday church services to find his brother Derek, his mother Susan, and Susan's new husband William Lisk murdered. Devin was so traumatized that he could only keep repeating that the scene was like something out of a haunted house. The culprit was found to be William Lisk's son from a previous marriage, William Lisk Jr., who had a history of schizophrenia and aggression. Lisk was later picked up and pleaded guilty to all 3 murders. Then he took his own life in prison in 2015. In 2009, 3 girls, teenage girls, were on their way home after trick-or-treating in Woodbridge, Virginia, when they were abducted by a man. All 3 were taken at gunpoint to a wooded area. 2 of them were assaulted. The 3rd girl was able to call her mother, which caused the man to flee. Police arrested Aaron Thomas, who had already been a suspect in numerous assaults since the 1990s. Thomas pleaded guilty to the crime in 2012. Yoshihiro Hattori was a Japanese exchange student living in Baton Rouge as part of the American Field Service Program. On Halloween night in 1992, Hattori and the young son of his host family went to a Halloween party for the AFS students. They were unfamiliar with the neighborhood where the party was, so the boys rang the doorbell of the wrong house. When they got no answer, they gave up and began to walk away. Then the owner of the home, Rodney Pierce, opened the door with a .44 Magnum in his hand. Hattori turned around and said, "We're here for the party," claiming that he was afraid for his life in that exchange. Rodney Pierce shot Hattori and killed him. It was only when the governor of Louisiana and the Japanese consulate got involved that Pierce was even arrested, after which he was acquitted of manslaughter. Sometime in the early hours of Halloween, 1981, Manhattan couple Ronald Sussman and Elizabeth Platzman were murdered in their Chelsea apartment. The couple was severely beaten before being shot, execution style, with the apartment completely ransacked. The New York police initially believed drug money to be the motive, but then the case took a turn for the bizarre. A prison informant claimed that one of his fellow inmates had predicted the crime weeks before it actually happened. That inmate turned out to be the son of Sam killer, David Berkowitz. Yes, Berkowitz had long been rumored to be involved with a satanic cult that helped him with some of his misdeeds, according to the informant. Berkowitz had told him that his cult was planning to enter a residence near Greenwich Village, Chelsea would qualify for that, on Halloween to carry out a ritual slaying. When questioned, Berkowitz claimed that Sussman had footage of one of the Son of Sam shootings and was planning to hand it over to the authorities in exchange for dropping some controlled substance charges. While no evidence was found to support Berkowitz's claims, he was basically right about the description of Sussman's apartment, but the crime is considered unsolved. On Halloween in 2011, Taylor Van Diest was leaving a party in the small town of Armstrong, Canada. She never came home, and she was found beaten to death near a set of railroad tracks. The event traumatized the town, especially after it was revealed that she'd sent a text to her boyfriend just before the attack saying that she was being creeped on. Police eventually used DNA found under Taylor's fingernails to arrest Matthew Forrester for carrying out this deed, and his father, Stephen, for helping to cover it up. In Fort Dodge, Iowa, resident Marvin Brandt and his wife were handing out candy to trick-or-treaters in 1982 when a man wearing a mask came to the door. He knocked on it, and he said, "Trick or treat. Give me your money or I'll shoot." The Brandlins thought it was a Halloween prank and tried to remove the man's mask. Instead, he barged into the house and pulled out a gun. He demanded that the couple give him the money they had stashed in their basement safe. Marvin made a grab for the masked man's gun, and the robber shot Marvin in the throat. He then ran away, but he left the mask behind. In the years that followed, Marvin's wife passed away, and the mask was tested for DNA evidence. As virtually nobody knew about the safe, suspicion was then to fall on the Brandlin family itself and a family member who did brag about committing a robbery. But there's never been enough evidence to charge him. Chris Jenkins was a 21-year-old student at the University of Minnesota who was last seen leaving a downtown Minneapolis bar on Halloween night 2002. 4 months later, his body was discovered in the Mississippi River, and he was still wearing his Halloween costume. Since Chris was intoxicated that night and he appeared to have drowned, authorities initially believed his demise was either an accident or self-inflicted. However, his parents refused to believe this, and they pressed for a more thorough investigation. Finally, in 2006, the death was reclassified as a homicide. Police claimed that an incarcerated suspect told them that he was present when Chris was slain and then thrown off the bridge to the river. While the story was credible, there's never been enough evidence to file charges. However, one possible theory is that Chris Jenkins could have been a victim of the mysterious and unsolved Smiley Face murders. Those bizarre killings involved approximately 40 male college students in the United States who were all drowned. In some of these cases, unexplained smiley face graffiti was found near the body of water where the targets had turned up. While there was no smiley face graffiti ever found in connection to Chris Jenkins' death, the scenario does have a number of similarities to these killings, and this case remains unsolved. Penn State grad student Cindy Song disappeared after leaving a party on Halloween night 2001. She'd been dropped off at her apartment and she had gone inside, but nobody ever saw her after that, and there was no trace of her ever found. The case took a number of very bizarre twists, and for a while the investigation focused on a man whose name was Hugo Marcus Selinski. Selinski had been arrested after 5 corpses were found in his backyard. A police informant linked Selinski and another man to Cindy, claiming that the duo had kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered her. To make things even weirder, the other man named in the kidnapping was also found dead in Selinski's backyard. More bodies have also been found there, but none have been proven to be Cindy. And these cases all remain open. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you would give this video a thumbs up, I would certainly appreciate that. If you would like to subscribe, please go ahead and do so. If you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, which is all 31 days of October, please go ahead and click that bell. Good night.